it's better to go out there when it's 45.
I know.
Well, there's stuck there about them.
With the new number,
But
yeah.
Today was what?
didn't have time to do it.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah,
I'm in trouble. I've got to find a way to make it up to her.
Yeah.
I got nothing.
That was good, yeah.
Yeah, my birthday was on council day.
Yeah.
Her birthday was on council day.
We're just stuck in that situation about.
You run the serve.
Yeah. If they don't reach the news, they're going to turn up.
Yeah.
Well,
Self-sacrifice.
maybe they're coordinators, they have maybe support now. Why would they need to get
Right.
That's probably the top process, so we gotta figure a way to get them out.
Energy all through the year.
We still have those.
That's our
I'm glad.
commitment.
I said, I'm sorry that you're.
No, whatever.
And a beautiful day to request for. Was it Chamber of
No
Commerce
Joe.
Day?
I mean, I'm Chris.
No, Chris.
Whoa.
Good evening, everyone. For those of y'all that may not know, we have a sign-up sheet over there. If you want to discuss something on the agenda, it's right there on the table. We're gonna start this off with our invocation. So we're gonna have Councilman Hawkins do the invocation.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for the blessing of this beautiful day that you gave us and for the gorgeous sunset that we saw this evening, Father. It was truly a blessing. We thank you, Father, for all who are gathered here, for our city. Pray that you would grant us discernment and wisdom as we consider tonight's agenda. Thank you, Father, for the beautiful blessings that you've given us on this day. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Amen. All right, at 6:30, we'll call the meeting to order and we'll do the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Okay. All right, so, Councilman Goff is not here tonight. Everybody else is here. Okay. So we're going to start off by doing our reports, presentations, and proclamations. And we're going to start off with the police department.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening.
Real quick, we got the National Night Out members. Not exactly what we were hoping for, but still very respectful. Third in Texas, seventh in the nation for communities with 5 to 15,000 population.
That's fantastic.
You know, once you get first place, there's you know, so unfortunately, every time we don't get first, we're disappointed, but a lot of hard work. I'll leave this with you guys. You're welcome to pass it amongst yourselves over the next month or so if you like. This is one of the requirements for National Night Out, and this is probably one of the biggest things that definitely works the hardest on. Like I said, you're welcome to look at it, pass it around, come back with comments if you like. You have before you the November monthly report. The police department responded to 1,153 calls for service, had a total of 15 arrests, 14 crashes that we actually worked crash reports on and submitted crash investigations to the state of Texas. average speed citation over the limit on Highway 21, 23.4 miles over the limit on Highway 46, 17.8. Everywhere else in the city besides FM 1863, 20.4 miles over the speed limit. I'll be glad to answer questions. If you have any questions about significant events or anything else, I'll be glad to answer those if I can.
Steve, 88 Edgebrook, what's going on?
I'm sorry?
What's going on in Edgebrook?
It's probably a bunch of people on vacation. Yeah. When they submit a request to check their house, while they're gone, when the officers show up and actually walk around the house, they submit a call for service for that.
Any trends or things that are on your radar that we should know about?
No, the only thing I can say every year, same thing around Christmas time. You know, thieves buy presents for their families and friends and loved ones as well too. It's just they don't work for it. They come out and steal from good folks like us and local businesses to support their presents, I guess, for lack of a better word. Always pay attention. Car burglaries pick up as well too. We actually had an incident this past weekend. A car was stolen in Copper Canyon, which is in the county. Dispatch gave out the information over the radio to be on the lookout for a car. Our guys go out there to assist and check Edgebrook, since Edgebrook is in the city and they're connected right there. Lo and behold, there's a car sitting in the middle of the road. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning. Sitting in the middle of the road on Versace, going into Edgebrook. The officers pull in behind it, light it up to try to stop the individuals, and they take off. It's literally like 200 yards maybe, if that. They try to negotiate that last curve down there on the end of the road and end up sliding into the yard and hitting someone's home. 2 guys get out and run on foot. We thought it was 1 initially, but it actually was 2. Both of them got away. Unfortunately, search lasted till after 7 o'clock in the morning looking for them. 2 separate canine searches. No bueno, couldn't find them. We did have an officer stop a suspicious vehicle about 2 or 3 hours earlier in the night. We're pretty sure that the driver of that car was the getaway driver for the other 2 males. It's a female. We have her identified. She's out of Hondo. What she was doing here at 1 o'clock or midnight in the morning, probably no good. She's probably related. So we're working that case. We got 2 search warrants signed today. There were 2 cell phones left inside the car. We got search warrants signed today by a district court judge in Comal County, and we're going to hopefully identify the suspects off that telephone. And if they are suspects, then we'll also write another warrant for the geolocation tracker of the phones and hopefully track back to where they started at, if possible. So long road ahead, lots of paperwork, but hopefully we can get a couple suspects.
Oh, good deal. Have we gotten any useful information out of the fly cameras yet?
We have. We've had a couple of thefts at the Academy and the Walmart that we've had a good vehicle description. We had a good camera shot of the vehicle, but we couldn't identify it. Couldn't see the license plate. So we're working those. So that's happening.
Okay.
Lots and lots and lots of red tape trying to get those camera systems on the state highways.
Yeah, I was about to ask, any approval on the take
So we're kind of backtracking on that at this point, and maybe going to talk to a couple of business owners in the community that have frontage right on 281 and 46 and say, hey, would you mind, working with us, MOU to drop this camera out here in your in your property line, not in the state right away. You could still capture license plates, but it would probably save another 10 months worth of work.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So we're looking at that. That's a possibility. I haven't discussed that yet with Mr. Castro, but that's on the to-do list.
Yeah, I have a question. K9.
Mm-hmm.
How does that work?
In what?
Well, because
way?
I know y'all called and it was hours before y'all got.
Yeah, so we had a K9 for a short period. We actually hired an officer from another agency that had a K9 he'd been working with. He had about 4 or 5 years left in him, but he was only a dope dog. He was not a tracking dog. If you can have dual purpose dogs, but they lose a little bit on each side of things. So if you have just a tracking dog, it's a good tracking dog, not a good dope dog. Vice versa on the drugs as well too. He's since retired. He's got bad hips, and so for the last couple of years, he was kind of just a dog and pony show, so to speak. And the last time he tried to jump into the back of the SUV, he yelped because of his hips. So he's living out the rest of his life with his K9 owner.
So did we have to wait for K9s to show up there from the county? Is that what we did, or?
K9 has several. Yes, we do have to wait. Usually there's one usually close by.
Okay.
They're usually not, because they have about, if I'm not mistaken, they have like 9 dogs. So they kind of rotate shifts all throughout the different parts of the county. Usually it's no more than about 20 minutes or so to get a dog there to help.
And with the weather.
I was just wondering because, I wonder if we would have had the dogs there, if we would have caught him.
Yeah.
Hard to say. Depends on how good the dog is. I've seen really good tracking dogs, and I've walked miles in the woods with that dog. I don't know what he's smelling, but not a suspect because we never found him. To answer your question on drones, we did bring out a drone as well too. Coleman County has several drones. We brought out a drone as well too that had a heat seeker on it. Couldn't find anything. So yeah, we tried. One of the officers actually seen somebody along the fence line as he was coming in at 0600, and it kind of picked it back up again. I was already coming out and about at that point, and I was like, "Hey, I thought we were done with this. What's going on?" And they said, "Well, we seen him over here." And I said, "Okay, let's give it another shot, see what we can do." But school was kicking up. Phone started blowing up. Hey, what's going on? The kids are going to school, and y'all got a bunch of units out there looking for bad guys. So we called it off about 7 o'clock in the morning. Any other comments?
Okay, Chief, I hadn't seen a book like this, but this goes to show me at least all the planning efforts that you do to make this happen. So well done. This is very
It
good.
is a lot of work for
It
Debbie.
is.
Yeah, I'm not gonna claim any work on that with the exception of pictures and stuff. She does a lot on that. We'll probably give her a break next year. It's just a lot of work for everybody in the community. And a lot of stress on her as well too. She really is a perfectionist, and she stresses really bad over that.
Yeah.
She say, "Hey, calm down. It is what it is." So
When you put it into perspective here, it says a lot. What it takes to make it happen. So
yeah,
well
Live
done.
Oak beat us again, number 1 spot, and then Kennedale, Texas beat us, got number 2 in the state. I don't know what Live Oaks. I mean, I know what Live Oaks do.
Don't they have like a big carnival?
They have a big one-time event, and we've talked about that, but we feel like that it takes away from the
Right.
core reason for National Night Out, which
Yeah.
is getting out to meet your neighbor. That's why they call it neighborhood block party.
Well, I think like
Not party.
Oh,
block party.
4 years ago, we did a large one here.
We did a large one here for this neighborhood, so we did like 4 or 5 different large ones around the community. Oak Hills North is stuck with that one because it works really well for them. It didn't work really well for Woodward Hills, so we kind of went back.
Yeah, because people said, I'd rather be in my neighbor's house.
Right. Oak Village North loves being together as one community. Works for them, works for us, So besides getting away from that block party and meeting your neighbors, I don't know anything else to try to do to get the first place. But the only thing I can say is, hey, we had first place at one point.
Good enough.
Can't win them all, right?
Yes. Any other questions?
We had talked about getting Debbie some part-time assistants. Any progress on that?
We have a gentleman named Jeff. Jeff Schreiber's been with us now for about a month. He's probably been 4 weeks or so. We're working out really well so far.
Good.
Flexible hours with him. We're trying to keep him happy as well too. And so, but Debbie likes him. And I told Debbie, you're in charge with him, so you tell me if he's working or not.
Yeah.
And I let Debbie, work with him as far as hours go, whatever works best for them. And it seems to be working out fine so far.
Great.
I haven't caught him arguing in the hallway yet.
Debbie's gonna win.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I won't even argue with Debbie. Any other comments, questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Finance, Sharon.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Y'all had a nice Thanksgiving. Okay, so new year, fiscal year, our revenues for the month of October were $479,856. Not a whole lot of year-to-date information, other we're at about 0.04% of our budget. We are at 99.8% of the ad valorem property tax for this 2025. And I do expect to receive the 2026 tax collection probably the end of the end of December, early January. She's going to get me that, so that'll be one big chunk. Expenditures for the month are $938,587. Nothing out of the ordinary. We're at 0.09% of our annual budget. The one big item, if you were to say anything, was there was a third payroll in October, but a lot of those hours, I would say probably 97% of the hours are going to be accrued back to September because they were hours for September. Just paid in October. So that'll decrease a little bit and that'll help. And I don't know if you looked on page, let's see here, the expenditures on the transfer out. There was a big difference of $154,000 because last year I did
quarterly accrual for the capital expenditure. Transferring out this year, I'm going to do it every single month, so it looks prettier on our sheet. Let's see. All bank accounts have been reconciled, investment accounts as well. Our interest for the month was $22,312.32. Sales tax for October, we're a little under budget by 9.17%, but we are over fiscal year 25 by 1.49%. I think we averaged out 303,000 per month and some change, and we came in just at 275. But already for the month of November, we're already jumped up. So I'll get that to you next month. Do y'all have any questions? Or
Thank you.
okay.
The new reports are great.
Yeah,
Zero money.
well,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Public Works,
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Monthly report for November. Tree right-of-way and drainage maintenance. We continued our mowing and trimming around Persimmon, Blanco, and that Bella Oak subdivision area. We've also still continued some of our site distance trees on spotted deer and running deer. Remove vegetation around stop signs and yield signs. Currently, at the time we did the report in November, we're at 69% complete with those signs. So the staff is still continuing doing that. We also removed some trash around Wildlife Ridge and Highland. And also one of the concerns that we had this past month is we had an oak tree, a veteran oak tree in Edgebrook that we'll have removed. It's showing signs of dieback. Some of the limbs are falling off, and it's creating hazard for the neighbors and vehicles. So unfortunately, the good thing is that our staff arborist identified the tree and unfortunately has to be removed. So we're going out for a third party to have that removed. Hopefully it'll be done this week. We are continuing our road and sign inventory. We have identified some signs in the OBN area that will be identified as replacing and removing. So we are continuing our road and sign inventory. We've also removed the month of November 28th unauthorized bandit signs. Those are signs that are on right-of-ways. Any other signs that are within the right-of-way, those are more of a nuisance, and they go into our planning department for notification. At the park, we did clear out some invasive trees that were identified. We had a third party go out and actually grind the stumps as well. So the park is right now clear and free of any invasive trees. And staff now, of course, with the arborists, are doing a fantastic job as far as taking care of the park. They're blowing leaves, a lot of leaves. You go to the park, there's a lot of leaves on the basketball court, so we actually had those removed. We blow those every day. At Kravis Park, we did repair the tee box and actually relocated it, making it a little bit more challenging for the individual playing Frisbee golf. The other thing we did in November is we did the decorations around Cougar Bend. You notice the light posts have a lot of decorations on there. My staff did that. And at City Hall, we had Chief Swipe come out and decorate. I really want to thank you for taking care of. And it looks beautiful. I walk into City Hall and it's like, wow, all the decorations here. Thank you for that. Really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Staff also assisted during the Christmas lighting. That was one of our biggest events, my first big event with the city. I also want to thank the chief and his staff for supporting the ESDs, for supporting us as well, keeping us safe. It was great up until the moment about 8 o'clock when it started to drizzle and rain, and it just kind of got messy after that. But other than that, it was a fantastic turnout. It was a nice event. We've completed our FEMA NIMS class, working towards our emergency operation for Public Works. We also conducted our rate study we're still continuing our rate study for the Singing Hills wastewater treatment plant, and also the wastewater treatment plant capacity discussion with Friesen Nichols, and also just conducted meetings with TxDOT, the HSIP director, as far as available funding for Full Verbiage. Other than that, that's my presentation.
I've got a question. So these streetlights down on the road there, Cooperton. Do y'all take care of those?
Yes, we've actually notified CPS on those, some of them are out. We actually notified them about 2 weeks ago that hopefully have them all lit up during Christmas, but
So CPS changes them?
Yes.
Not the city?
yes, not a city,
Okay.
those are CPS.
That's interesting. Okay, so I guess that includes even the ones down 1863, I guess, a little section there, Maury Road.
Yes, anything that's on that road, if it's not associated with like a HOA or a subdivision that they pay for the lighting, it would be a CPS light.
Okay. And then a few years ago, we used to have these like signs that would go on those light poles actually.
Yes.
And they used to be down Mulberry Road too. And I think there were some that, they said the city of Mulberry. And I think we had even some Christmas ones too that had the city of Mulberry. Whatever happened to them,
Right now, we actually were looking for them. We just can't find them. I don't know where they're at. So we did go out and get some pricing for that. At that time, I think it was about 2 weeks prior to the Christmas lighting. I think funding for that was about $4,000 to get those installed and purchased. So we made it the decision to say, you know what, let's not rush this. Let's take our time, budget it for next year, and then we'll look at that next year to have those placed up.
Yeah, just
Are you saying they're missing?
I think not that they're missing. I think the ones that were out there, they were kind of worn out because they're weathered, and they just weren't.
The arms kept breaking.
They'd also stay up until summertime.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, so some of them have been weathered. So I think they made the conscious
Yeah,
decision.
they
I think we had several sets there.
Yeah.
and be a replacement cycle.
We had
Yeah.
several sets. They weren't just for Christmas. There were others that said City of Prairie and other
Yeah.
things. I mean, there's more than just holiday.
Yeah, they were kind of themed for
Yeah.
Yeah.
a time.
Yes.
Seasonal.
Can we get an inventory on that?
We have looked for them and we have not found them. We've looked at our storage unit, upstairs and every place that we've looked for, and we have not found them.
Maybe
But
we can bring it to council and decide we want to, I think I'd like to see that again. I mean, we're getting a lot of traffic.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
we're getting a lot of traffic. We got new businesses coming,
Yeah.
new businesses opening up. And, I think we're proud as a community to show it. So I think we should look at trying to get those sooner than later. I mean, I like seeing them. I used to like driving through and seeing them, so I'd like to
It's a
see
budget
it.
Yeah, it'll be a budget item.
All right.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you. Thank you.
Parks?
Happy holidays. So at our last meeting on November 19th, we had a presentation from the Bulverde Garden with Joanne Hall. She updated us that they need volunteers. They're at 27 plots right now, and they have 4 new plots coming soon, so they're at capacity over there.
This is the garden?
The garden, right. Also, Michelle Molina came with the Comal County Friends of the Night Sky. We had a presentation from her, very informative. She also helped us reschedule our stargazing party. So we've got that rescheduled for March 7th of next year at our park from 7 to 8:30, so that's gonna be great. We're continuing our review with the Parks and Recreation Trails and Open Space Master Plan. We've advertised through social media and the Front Porch News for community input. Haven't had anybody show up yet. We're still going through that. We were supposed to have a meeting presentation with our representative with Texas Parks and Wildlife Grant Department. She was supposed to come to our December meeting, but there was a scheduling conflict, so it's been moved to January. We're really anxious to talk to her to see what kind of grant opportunities we can get for parks and trails. Lastly, we have a donation from the Optimist Club. It's for $10,000. They want to use it towards replacing some park benches, upgrade them. There are several that are split and need a repair. There's 13 benches. Not all of them need repair, but we're thinking probably 6 or 7. Rebecca Hayes, our former chair and board member, as well as Dominic Perez, he's our vice chair and he's a member of the Optimist Club. They've both done extensive research on this. We're hoping to get a company called Markstar Now. It's a regulated plastic lumber provider to see if we can get the slats and just replace the slats instead of the whole bench. Use the money wisely in more opportunities than just the bench. Looks like if we bought new benches, it would be $535 per bench. So we want to be more cost effective with that money. We're going to bring the item to the January meeting for a budget allocation vote. We'll have more details for you at that time. There's another donation from the Kiwanis Club for $2,500 that we need to determine what we want to do with that as well. So we'll have all that information for you at the January meeting. If you have any questions from me or from Dominic with the Optimist Club, we're happy to answer any questions.
Cindy, do we already have that money?
Yes. Friends of the Park have it, so we need to get it to the city.
Move it over to.
Yeah, that's
Right.
been there for, sitting there for
Been
several years.
sitting there for several years, yeah.
So we didn't we have this discussion, Sharon, about moving that money before? From the garden?
I didn't, I was reading it.
Into the park. I don't think no. This is for the office of the paper. It's sitting there for a couple of years.
I still may.
Yeah, I think it's still in, I think it's still with the Friends of the Park.
Yeah, we need to get that money. Okay.
So I understand it has to be a budget vote, correct? In January, that we have to do.
Mhm.
Okay. All right, we'll have that done. Any
Oh,
questions?
I have a question for you. The bricks.
Yeah.
At the park, are there still the bricks available? I've had about 4 people ask me about bricks.
Yeah, they're knows where they're at.
Yeah, the brick program for the engraving of the brick, we don't do that anymore. That program's been, I guess, eliminated. So we do have bricks in the back that are stored, but we don't actively place new bricks with named
Okay.
donations.
Somebody, I've had people ask me about it. Okay. So we don't do it anymore.
So do we get a new donation wall or something to, you know, I guess support the donate, people who donate stuff, or do we have a new?
We're talking
donation?
about that actively right now. Dominic is a great idea for that. So that might be where some of the money goes towards purchasing that,
Yeah.
that
Oh,
wall.
I mean, $10,000, that's a good donation. So I'd like to, that, you know,
Right.
display their name.
Dominic has a good idea on that.
Right now, it's still, right now, it's still in the process of me speaking to a couple companies about setting it up. If you have an idea of where our restrooms are at the park, we have the nice big limestone walls on each side. What we've considered is putting up a metal tree and adding leaves to that tree, which would have businesses and people's names on them. And it would have different size leaves, different colored leaves for different levels of donation.
That's cool.
So
That'd be
we
good.
would add the leaves to this tree from $500 to $1,000 to $5,000 on these leaves. So it would show the community who has helped donate to the park and give thanks to those that have come before.
Yeah. That's
I like that.
That's
So
a
we're-
unique idea. And it's flood resistant.
As long as we can kind of just keep it to where, you know, someone's not pulling in, breaking it off.
No, they would be possibly stainless steel that we could have those etched, attached to that tree, and they would be permanent on there. There's no damage to that.
I think it's a great idea.
Is
Good
there
idea.
any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. Okay, moving on. Regular agenda item. 3A, consider approval of the regular city council meeting minutes, November 13th, 2025. So I've looked at these and now that they've been fixed, we're okay, and I'll make a motion to approve.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Right. 3B, consider approval of an interlocal cooperation agreement between Comal County and the city of Laverne for animal control services.
I guess I do the short straw on this. It's the animal control contract between City of Bulverde and Comal County Sheriff's Office, basically, the animal control under the sheriff. I talked to Mark, Sheriff Reynolds, about the contract. And he said there are two significant changes in it. One is obviously the amount contracted for, which is higher than last year, but they've taken out the per animal charges that they had in the previous contract, is my understanding.
Okay, and what were
Okay,
the,
but they added, go ahead.
or what was the per animal in the previous contract?
I believe it was $210, if I'm not mistaken. I don't have the contract in front of me. I believe it was $210 per animal.
But there are shelter fees. It's not a
Yeah, that's not all inclusive
flat
price.
fee.
Correct.
Do we have any way of estimating what that, are those
Per
minimum
animal.
fees?
I think it depends on the animal.
It's
You
per
know,
animal.
if it's injured when it comes in, that kind of thing.
How
But
much
that
do
was
we
like that last year. I'm sorry.
How much do we actually use this service?
We do use the services.
Do we?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, anytime that there is an at-large animal,
Right.
if we can't identify and get it back to its rightful owner, very quickly, or if we can't capture it, we'll call animal control out. A lot of times, the dispatch will send them out here as well automatically. The biggest thing that from a PD standpoint that we use them for is if we have an arrest and there's an animal inside the car, and there's no way to get that animal to a family.
Right.
That's where we use them from a PD standpoint.
We
So-
contracted with the sheriff a number of years already, right?
Correct.
Yeah,
I think this is probably
it's been a while.
probably 6th or 7th year, probably.
Yeah.
It's been a while. I mean, we looked at it and we decided, do we really want to be in the animal control business?
It's
And,
expensive.
it is expensive, but
I mean, what are the other options?
they kind of have us,
Yeah.
That's your other option.
cats.
Going into the animal control business, and there's kennel rules, and,
Right.
there's training for the individual. Obviously,
Yeah.
there's retirement,
Special
there's
vehicles,
health
stuff like that.
benefits. There's a lot goes into it.
Yeah.
I think the first contract was very minimal. It was like $20-something thousand. It was very small. And gradually it's gone up over the year. I'd venture to say that the amount that we're paying doesn't even cover the salary for one animal control officer.
Do we, okay, in here it says that they have to report to you every time they pick up an animal and all this other stuff. Do we have that information from this past year?
We could dig it out. Correct. So there was an issue a couple of years ago where animal control was being called and we were never being contacted. And I called and spoke with the sheriff and he said, I'll take care of it on dispatch side of things. I was like, hey, we just want an officer dispatch as well too. Because my concern was at the time was we'll have folks pick up animals, they're animal lovers, they'll pick up an animal on the way home. It's 1604 and 281, bring it home out for Verde, and then they call animal control and we get stuck with the bill. And so, I mean, we're all animal lovers, most of us are. It's just that there's, unfortunately, there's a dollar value to that as well too.
Right.
And so we requested anytime an animal control call comes out inside the city limits of Verde, because there's a lot of Verde is not inside the city limits. So we're tracking and also making sure that, Johnson Ranch, city of Verde, is not being charged to the city of Verde. And they've done a really good job on that. But the biggest challenge was we just wanted an officer out there before animal control got there so we could have a discussion with the homeowners to see what the status is. I mean, unfortunately, there are, unresponsible or irresponsible pet owners too, where they get an animal and they're like, oh, we love it. And then all of a sudden makes an accident in the house and boom, we don't want it no more. Let's call animal control to come pick it up. So we try to weed that stuff out before animal control actually takes custody of the animal.
Now, do they handle? Sorry, go ahead.
So when my neighbor who lives on the west side, his dog gets loose, and he goes over, his dog starts chasing my neighbor's cats who lives over on the east side all over my yard. Who do I call? Or do I call anybody?
If you're inside the city limits, you're going to call us.
Call the PD.
Yeah, you can call the PD if you want to. You can call dispatch either way.
Okay.
As long as it's inside the city limits, they should send an officer first.
So we shouldn't call the county.
Oh, you can call the county. Yeah, I recommend when we dispatch the sheriff's office. Yeah. So the easiest way to get a PD officer there is call dispatch.
Normally I let those things take care of themselves, but one time when one of the cows got loose and the cow was in the garage, we needed to call the
And you name it, we wrangle. I've been in a house with snakes before, and it's like I hate snakes. And I'm like, what do you want me to do?
At least the cow wasn't in
I
there.
have a couple of questions.
Sure.
So,
Go ahead.
I have a question on fees, okay? So let's say that somebody gets a citation or whatever. That's going to Comal County.
The contract clearly states that at-large and rabies vaccine related citations and cited city limits are supposed to be handled by animal control
Okay,
through the JP.
so those fines stay over there.
Correct.
And that's a $500, I think, fine, right? for
And
animals.
most of that's going to the state anyway. I think $200 something off every fine goes to the state.
So if we pull over somebody and they've got an animal and we can't get a hold of anybody and we're having to seize the animal, what we is there any way, do we recover that fee? Is that something that in their fine, you now have animal control fees associated with it?
So I know in the past and I don't know how it's working now, but I know in the past when the dog was impounded through animal control and they wanted to pick their animal up, they had to come here and pay a fee. Now, this was many years ago. I don't know what it's been recently. And I haven't heard of anybody wanting to pick up their animal. Most of the animals we're getting them back to the owners before animal control ever takes custody of them. Yeah. That's our goal. When we go out as a PD, animal at large, if we can ID, we'll call animal control out and they'll scan it. With the matter of fact, we just got an animal scanner about a month ago. A resident gave it to us and said, "Hey, here you guys can use this. It's yours." And so we now have that ability to do that. So we'll scan it first or have animal control scan it, and we do everything we can in our power to get the dog back to its rightful owner before they have to pay any fees. And animal control is great at assisting with that as well too. It's not like they just come out with their noose and snag the dog up and throw it in the back of the truck and take it off to get euthanized. That's not happening. We're working together to try to get that dog to its rightful owner before they ever haul it out for storage, so to speak.
So who gets the call for the deer that's got all the Christmas lights on his antlers in my neighborhood?
Unfortunately, the
he's
PD.
covered.
Yeah, unfortunately,
Right.
the PD.
You're getting a call.
Yeah, and we do the best we can, but we're not gonna, get, punched in the eye with a hammer or something. That's
Absolutely
right.
not.
We've taken deer off fence before and had to put them down.
Oh,
because
yeah,
they were so tore up.
absolutely.
So we have a separate contract with a separate gentleman, still, if I'm not mistaken, that picks up the carcasses in the right.
Dead deer. Dead deer robber.
Dead deer robber.
Dead deer robber. Okay. So
What a shot.
where does that fall in our budget? Somewhere in there? So dead
Yes.
deer robber.
Public Works.
Yeah.
That's yours.
He falls under public works?
I think it's
Yeah, it's,
Good
it might be animals first. It all falls under animals first.
Including this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, question that, you may or may not know, but how did they arrive at that number? What do they use to get that number? Are they
Commissioner's Court.
Okay, are they using it to compare to other contracted cities?
I
or-
can't answer that. You'd have to ask that question of I know that Mark always waits for it to come back from Commissioner's Court before he ever sends it over here, because they're the ones that set the dollar value.
And we don't have a way to estimate what the add-on fees might be.
Right.
What were they last year?
Any idea, Sharon?
I know it's like $210 per animal boarded, but we haven't gotten any for the last couple of months. We haven't had any extra. Depending on what veterinarian services the animal will need, it could be $500.
And those are billed monthly, right?
Yeah, I get a monthly from the,
And then she would send those to me, and I would confirm that we have a call for service on it, and an officer went out there before we ever approved it.
we just haven't had it for a month.
Yeah, we have.
Well, we gotta have animal control, right?
Right.
Yeah, we
There's
got
no
that.
way around it. But, let's look and see if, this is a good value for what we did for last year, Sharon.
Yeah.
Just send me an email or send us an email later or something that just tells us, hey, we had so much, this is what
Okay.
the amount was, and this is how many, I just wanna know, when we break it down per month or whatever, or per week, and how many animals got picked up. I'm gonna say I did see animal control the other day at Luke's. They were parked at Luke's, but they were here. They were, I don't know why they were, if they were just patrolling like they're supposed to in their contract or not, but I did see them. But I'd like to know. It's just, I'm curious, but we do need animal control, so.
I still have a couple of questions, if I may.
Go ahead.
So this interlocal specifically says that the county order governs. But there are some things in the county order that are not covered. So I'm wondering if this is an overlay on our existing ordinances. We have animal ordinances in the city of Rio Verde. Is animal control enforcing our ordinances where they're not covered by the, I just guess I'm curious how that compliance piece is.
We can utilize animal control to assist us with that, but it doesn't give total depending on the violation.
So we're not doing away with our own ordinances.
Correct. It's just that rabies at large handled by the county if they come out and handle it.
Okay,
If we don't contact animal control at all, and we feel like a citation is in order for a dog at large, we can still do that.
okay.
Yeah.
It does not preclude you guys from.
That I'm aware of, no.
Okay.
That might be an attorney question.
If the county, if you're entering into a contract for animal control services for rabies specifically, you have to state whose rules you're going to.
Understood.
Apply. So that's why that.
Understood. I was looking at things like, for example, we have park regulations about animals in parks that exceeds what the county rules about parks.
That's separate, that's at large, so your rules would apply, but your code enforcement officer or peace officer can ticket a separate site.
Okay, so we're not precluded from enforcing our own ordinances.
Yeah, it's not taking away any of
It's
our.
not taking away.
This is
Okay.
more along the lines of rabies control, those kinds.
Okay. Okay, that was it.
Any other
Thank you.
questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so do we have a motion?
Yeah, I'll move to approve an interlocal cooperation agreement between the Tacoma County and the city of Bulverde for animal control services.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. 3C, presentation, discussion, and possible action on the 2026 street plan.
Mayor and council, this is just a follow-up from our meeting on November the 13th. Some of the requests council requested. Council asked for estimated costs on each proposed project. Costs are now included throughout the updated presentation. Also asked for a map of showing of all the project locations. The map has been completed now. We'll walk through it shortly. Council also requested the list of worst condition streets based on PCI data. We compiled that list and aligned it with the updated roadway inventory. We also requested the roadway network breakdown showing total mileage by PCI range. That information has also been added so I can clearly see overall system performance. And lastly, council also asked to explore possibilities of assistance from Comal County Public Works. Initial contact has been made and we'll continue discussion to determine what support might be available. So this first slide here outlines and recommends street maintenance projects for fiscal year 25-26. The goal of the program is to use funding in a small and strategic way that maintains road quality, prevents early pavement failure. This is the same list I sent. I proposed to you the last council meeting. Overall, the list was developed to achieve the best return on investment. We targeted treatments that prevents deterioration, extend pavement life, and avoid much higher costs later. The selections are rooted in the PCI data collected earlier this year by RAS. The activity table below shows basically the ratings between 0 and 100. PCI rating from 86 to 95 is good condition. We focus on preservation treatments such as crack sealing and rejuvenation. PCI score between 71 and 85 is satisfactory. We do a lot more surface seals, treatments with fog seals, slurry seals, microsurfacing, and chip seal. PCI score between a 56 and 70 is more for rehabilitation treatment, often a mill and overlay. There's really no substructure that is damaged, so the surface treatment is done. Of course, 0 to 55 is total reconstruction. That means, the base on the actual street itself has failed. So that's more of an in-depth, full-depth reclamation process. So this is the cost of the actual streets themselves. included their PCIs. As you can tell, Edgebrook has a PCI overall of 92. We really want to focus preservation here. It's the most cost-effective approach and prevents premature failures. Most of the streets in this program, it's like John Charles, Barton Hills, and the other streets are satisfactory range, ideal candidates for treatments that extend the pavement life on it, like chip seal. Of course, you got Casey Road, Rodeo Road, and what was the other road? Rodeo. Rodeo.
Bobcat.
Oh, yeah, Wildcat. That need more of a mill and overlay because of the PCI scores. The program follows the network approach that we discussed last month. It balances the worst condition streets with preservation needs, ensuring we stretch our funding as far as possible. Any questions on this slide?
Yeah,
I
but-
have the last question, okay, so we'll go in order here. Councilman Hayes,
I'm just curious why none of the ones that are listed as poor or very poor are on the list. I would think if they have a very poor score or a poor, there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 9 that come from a poor or very poor, and they're not on our list. Wouldn't the worst streets be something that we need to address?
The way the program was set up, the way we're looking at this is that we're not doing worst first on streets. The way we look at it on the pavement preservation side of it is that if the street's bad, it's going to be bad. It's going to stay bad. It'll stay bad next year, the following year. What we're trying to do is target the streets that are on the verge of going bad and getting bad.
So when are we ever going to fix the ones that are very bad?
So the list, the streets that are on the core section, those are created within a 3 to 4 year project. They are identified in future pavement preservation programs. They're not completely ignored at all. What we try to do is try to balance the preservation side of it on the heavy side to keep those really good.
Mm-hmm.
We spend $1, $2 on preservation,
Right.
rather than spending $72 on a rehabilitation.
No, 100% get the preservation.
But they will. They to answer your question, the streets that are on your worst list will be. They have been identified for future projects for next year or maybe even the following year. That they are incorporated in that. So we're not ignoring those completely.
You make a good point though, Clint. It seems like there should be some time when it comes around, even if you don't do all of them.
I'd like to see maybe hit one.
Yeah,
Work on preservation and balance.
Because other than that, you're gonna have continuing demand from the other streets, which are considerably better investment.
Yeah.
But it never does anything to address the ones that have failed.
Yeah, I'll give you an example like Rodeo Drive. It's on the 59. So it's on the verge of dropping into that 4 section.
Well, and that's
So
where
that
the
rehabilitation-
EMS station is. Do you have all the heavy equipment going through that?
What's that?
Yeah, you have all the heavy equipment.
Oh, yeah. So
Where's that?
what we're trying to do is prevent those good streets getting into that bad section. And eventually the bad ones will stay bad.
It's a balancing act, yeah.
Yeah. And those are identified in future years for me.
I just don't want the bad ones to get bad to a point where they're dangerous to the citizen.
Right.
Yeah.
And when you're talking about this is a 29, this is a 36, I mean, I understand what you're doing. I understand you're trying to make that pot stretch as far, and we'll put some money at this okay street now, and it's gonna make it last longer.
Mhm.
I'm just worried about if some of these are so bad that we gotta do something to it. That's
Yeah,
my.
and a lot of the streets, if you look at a lot of these streets that are on the worst, that are really bad, a lot of them are very short pieces.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
You know, they're the ones that are on 1863, the little stub outs that have gotten bad. You know, they've just gotten bad to the point where do we want to sacrifice and do that one and not do the good ones like in Edgebrook or on Barton Hill, on the ones that are really critical to our infrastructure. Those are critical to our infrastructure as well. But what we want to do is go ahead and spend the money on that larger road, and then we'll get these eventually. All the streets in our network, the method that we're doing will be touched within 1 to 5 years. So,
You get them all done within 5 years.
yes.
Trust the process.
Councilman?
Yeah, so yes, this is great. I like the information you did, clearing this up, good information. I agree with Councilman Hayes. I was kind of wondering the same thing, but it makes sense what you're doing. And you know, you get the lifespan out of it, like Edgebrook, for example. It's a new road. Why are we doing that? Well, because you maintain it now, it's like changing your oil regularly, right?
Exactly.
Do it regularly, it'll last you, right? So I get that. I think what we may all be in, maybe kind of question is, we're looking at those very poor streets and, you know, how bad they are. They may not be the whole section, like you said, right? But you're developing what I would consider, what I haven't seen here, is a good PM plan, a preventive maintenance plan, right?
Correct.
So what I think would help us maybe to make this fair, and where we're not getting like, well, you know, this street's failing, and you know, this one's Edgebrook's getting resealed, right? For example, is giving us that forecast. Like, this is what we're looking at this year. This is 26, 27 plan, 28, 29 plan. That way you see how it's mixing at that point, right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, unfortunately, the cost is just going to go up, right?
Correct.
It's going to continue to go up, and then we don't have like I don't think we have like a catastrophic failure plan, right? So say this street is failing bad enough where, you know, cars are having accidents and they're wrecking and potholes. You know, I don't know if it's just slaps some cold mix in it, or do we, you know, have to start looking at just doing the overlay, which can cost us now $400,000 to do a mill and overlay, right? So we don't really have a prep plan for that, but
and looking at these roads that are bad or poor roads, you know, my pothole. I mean, I count potholes. How many potholes we filled in last week? We didn't fill any potholes last week. You know, the roads are in that shape of 29, 59, but they're not in that terrible shape where it's actually causing, you know, vehicles to have, you know, flat tires or running off the road. A lot of this is basically what you're looking at is rutting, cracking, which lowers your PCI scores, that need to be redone, subgrade issues, you know, that need to be redone. But a lot of them don't have, I mean, I've driven them all, they don't have potholes where you're going to be very serious in dire need of having to replace them. Now, we do have my guys do carry pothole material. If you know, they need to fill in that pothole, we'll fill in that pothole. You know, so it's a balancing act. And I see how you feel that we do need to pour money into the poor ones, but in the long run, again, you know, pavement preservation programs are set to do more on the higher end and back off on a lot of your boards, because they'll stay.
If you can touch them all within 5 years,
that's what we set out to do, is to touch all our streets, some way, somehow, to keep that. There's a degradation curve that we use in order to create the list. And the degradation curve keeps our roads at that 5-year plan, you know, hovering around that 83 to 84 mark. If we do that worst case first, our PCI in 5 years drops by 3 to 4 points. So we drop into that 82 to 81, 82 range. So we don't want to go into that.
Councilman, I think that might be a good discussion during the budget process, is to look at the overall plan and take that into consideration when we set these numbers. I think that's something we can come back and talk about then.
So I have a question.
Yes.
So how old are the Edgebrook subdivision roads? When were they installed? When were they last taken care of? See, I'd like to see what we're looking at here, you know, because is there a reason that
Never by the city.
that
Never
road,
been.
huh?
I mean, I don't think they've ever.
So when were they put in, right?
At least 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So let's say 10 years, right?
Yeah.
So when was the last time Barton Hill was done? Do we know? Do you have a clue?
depends on what stretch.
Maybe it depends on where it's, you know.
Yeah, and I think one of the questions last time is to produce a list of the streets that, you know, that were done in the past 5 years.
Yeah.
And you know, having 2-3 different predecessors doing it differently and
no records.
No records, you know, and diving into something that is difficult to do.
I think our specs are good now, and the repairs are lasting longer, the streets are lasting longer. I think we're at the point where, you know, what we're doing is working, so.
Yes.
So back to my question.
Yes, ma'am.
So we don't know when, okay, could you tell us, let me ask you this. Can you tell us, like, let's look at Starlight, okay? How much road is that? I mean, how, are we doing 1 mile, 2 miles?
It's
You've got a
from-
total of 10.4.
Yeah, it's from 1860, I don't know the exact, length right now, but, total mileage is 10.4 miles. I got a map here, I'll get to the map.
Yeah, I'm
There's a
looking
map.
at
Yeah.
it. It doesn't like show that it's only like a small part of it, right?
Yeah, no, it's, the highlighted blue ones are that stretch, you know, of the road. Casey Road is the red one. There's a blue one, Jaber, Barton Hill. You see Rodeo up on top, in the red, it's getting done. The green one's Rejuvenation, the one happening in Edgebrook. So, again, when we set out to do the plan, it's more of an objective, study, analysis, more than a subject, you know, because we could sit here and say, okay, yeah, let's do this and do that one. At the end of the day, if the scores that were brought to us are the actual pavement condition index, or whatever treatment was done to that street in 3 years, 4 years, that treatment brought that score to that street right now. So it's an actual living score.
So when we go to redo all these roads, we're gonna use all the same material. So all of them will be used with the same type of material.
No, I mean, there's different treatments on each road. Each road's gonna have a different, like, for example, in Edgebrook, it's gonna be a fog seal rejuvenation. There's gonna be no hot mix,
Right, it's just
no
a
chip
spray.
seal. Yeah, it's a rejuvenation that's gonna
Correct.
enhance the life of that street. Chip seal, you have 2 chip seals, one with the patching, because some of the roads are gonna need some patching on them. Some need edge repair, so we're gonna do the edge repair and chip seal. And the mill and overlay, with the edge repairs is what it is. We mill out that road, we come back and put some hot mix on top.
All right, Jason, questions?
Yeah, I got some questions. If you go back to priority number 9, Casey Road, Liberty Road and Monica View, mill and overlay. I drove it earlier today. It seems the sub base is good. Is that, when you're talking about mill, is that a full mill to full depth? Or is that just knocking the tops down and making it level?
Correct, yeah. The mill and overlay is more just removing that top 2 inches of that surface,
So you're just gonna knock it level?
knock it down.
Yeah, it doesn't need a full
Yeah,
depth.
yeah, full depth, a full depth reclamation is more where your subgrade is space.
Right.
Where you have severe rutting.
So you can mill and overlay, you can mill the whole road out as opposed to just knocking the tops down?
Correct, yeah. Yeah, it's just, take the top off, put new hot mix on top of it, clean up the edges, make that road,
Make
you
it
know,
more smooth.
yeah, you put a crown on it, you know, you need to put the crown on it, so yeah, it's more of a,
Yeah, we just need that hot mix with the black,
Yeah.
heavy tack oil.
Yeah.
But is that the same what you're gonna do on Rodeo Drive?
yes,
Not a full depth mill?
correct, yeah, not a full depth mill.
Okay, that makes sense.
So we'll start doing like the full depth mill, like when we get into that 4, you know, streets, or we need to do some of these 4, you know, 29s, 49s.
Right.
And yeah, we would probably, focus on some of that.
Yeah.
And do some of that stuff.
Yeah, I was just thinking Casey Road is not really needed right now, I don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing too, if I had put a 4 road on there that was very short and they had to do an FDR,
Right.
the cost to do that was
It's-
gonna be outrageous.
It's expensive.
Because not only you're having a contractor come out and do a full depth reclamation on a road that's only 100, 200 feet
Right.
long, it's expensive.
Yeah,
I'd rather have just, you know,
you tear up the whole sub.
Mobilization costs.
yeah, mobilization costs on that would be expensive.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. And then, is striping included in this too, or?
Yes,
Okay. Are we gonna use the water-based paint, or I think we should do the thermoplastic?
yeah, I'm gonna
Much
look
brighter.
forward to the thermoplastic.
Yeah,
Thermal grade.
that's definitely the way to go, so. And, yeah, I know we've been using the trap rock with the polymer emulsion.
Mhm.
Do you think that's really necessary to fog seal it after you do a chip seal with the trap rock?
You know, that's one of the
Once,
It just drives the cost up and it's not really.
it does, but it does extend the life of that road that much longer, that much more. If you drive down a lot of our roads at the intersections, you see a lot of loose gravel, especially on Boulevardy Hills and a lot of these areas. All that loose gravel is because of that loose rock. So what the fog seal does, it traps that
Yeah.
rock in there that much longer.
But I'm just saying, when you do a fresh chip seal, fog seal preventive maintenance down the line.
Mhm.
But when you do a fresh chip seal, is there a need to immediately fog seal it after you lay the chip seal?
Yeah, I would fog seal it maybe about a month afterwards.
Okay, so the chip seal plus fog seal, that's different time span?
Yeah, it's gonna be about a month.
Okay, yeah. Okay,
About
that's what I
3 weeks.
wondered.
Yeah, because what you wanna do is once you.
Yeah, you don't wanna fog seal it. as soon as you
Yeah,
lay the chip
yeah, you chip seal it, you let cars drive on it, you vacuum,
Right.
up the rock,
seal.
and then you come in, you fog seal it and
No
lock
cool
that,
big vacuums.
it locks that rock in, yeah. Cause right now, like you drive down the road, you just get a lot of loose rock.
Yeah.
And
We've had problems with the contractors not doing a good job on the vacuum and the sweep.
Yeah, you
So,
Yeah.
We had a pile.
that's one thing is, as part of the pavement preservation program is the oversight as far as contractors go. Being out there, making sure they're doing the job right.
Making sure they're putting new
Make-
knobs.
yeah,
on the
making
trucks.
sure the nozzles are right, making sure they're using, the,
I think we've been making them put new nozzles on every now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and not chip sealing when it's 40 degrees out.
Yeah,
I mean,
like I said last time, you do a repair, like a hot repair, you wanna drive on for a little bit, wait, and then you come in and do either chip seal or.
Yeah.
So,
Councilman Watson?
Hi, I'm Francesca. I'm gonna be honest with you, Aaron, I appreciate the philosophy. I am looking at a list of 31 streets that fall into very poor or poor fare.
mhm.
At 3 a year, it's gonna take us 10 years to touch them. I don't think the people who live on those streets are gonna be thrilled that we're spending money on Edgebrook subdivision, which has a rating of 92.
Mhm.
So I'm wondering, and I understand the philosophy behind what you're saying.
Mhm.
But it also seems to me, if I'm hearing correctly, that we've not had necessarily a comprehensive 5-year plan for how we're gonna do this. I'm not saying we've done a bad job, but I think we're missing some records as an example, right? We can't say when the last time Keswick was touched, we don't know. And so I think for the people who live in those areas, I think we really should take a hard look at this and find out, for example, is there a way to estimate the point loss year to year on these PCI ratings?
Yeah,
For the
I think,
ones that are-
PCI ratings will drop anywhere from 2 to 3 points a year.
Okay, so something that's already rated 85 or 92,
Mhm.
we can give up 2 or 3 points, I would say, over a year or two, and concentrate that money on some of these roads that if they're gonna lose 2 or 3 points, that's a massive difference when you're starting at 29
Yeah,
than if you're starting at 92.
completely understand that, and I completely understand that side of it. But when you look at doing, again, an FDR, let's say Keswick, having a contractor go out to do Keswick is gonna cost me probably 2 or 3 times more.
Understood, but that's gonna be the case whether we do it this year or next year.
Yeah, but
Right?
but if we do it and we do it in the program, which the program probably set up to be, okay, like next year we're gonna do, 3 of the poor streets next year. We'll have more of those poor streets in there and we'll focus on those.
I'm saying, why not flip that and do the poor streets now?
Mhm.
Because we can afford to lose 2 or 3 points on something that's rated 85 or 92.
Yeah.
Where I think we maybe would have a hard sell explaining to people who've been waiting for road maintenance on these roads for a long time. So
Yes.
that would be my suggestion.
Mhm.
If the issue is deploying resources efficiently so that we're doing more of the same thing, I would say let's lean towards these poor, very poor, and get that knocked out. Because I don't think those streets can afford to lose 2 or 3 points. That's my take on it. I think it would be a hard sell for the people who live there.
If these estimates are correct that are provided in here, we could do all the very poor and the poors for around $400,000. If these dollar amounts next to it, like Keswick, we're talking about Keswick, it says the cost estimate's $5,500.
Yeah, because again, Keswick's a very small.
So I guess
See now, those estimates are more.
Hold the minute. Okay, so is it it's cracked and it's got potholes down the middle of it, that's only like, 100 feet. That's making this road very poor, and the rest of it is okay.
Yeah, a lot of the PCIs are rated, what brings the rating down, a lot of roads is running in the crack. And your subgrade failures. So Keswick, I think is more of a, again, I think it's a little stub out street.
I was
So-
just using that as an example.
Yeah.
My point is, it sounds to me like you've got a 5-year plan.
Mhm.
I'd like to see what that is, and I'd like to explore the possibility of maybe flipping some stuff so that we front load these harder things. That stuff's only gonna get more expensive. If it's expensive now, it's gonna be worse next year. So
Yeah.
I almost feel like we should bite the bullet and do that now. The other thing I would notice is that this is coming in at 1.6. We budgeted 1.5. So what's the
Correct.
plan for closing that gap?
Well, once once council approves it, we'll get the bid package done by our on-call engineer.
Yeah.
And then we send it out for bid and get a closer estimate of what we have. That's where the priorities are set. Like, if the money, if bids come in a lot lower than 1.6 and 1.5, then we get to do all of them. But if they don't, and the estimates are maybe a little higher, then we remove those two bottom ones that are on the priority list, and we move those over to.
I'd be in favor of taking a hope, if we're gonna look 5 years out, I feel like we've gotta have an answer for this stuff that's in the really bad category. And given that costs are rising, I wouldn't say we wait on those. That would be my.
Yeah,
My thought.
I'll say, we're talking about cost. You gotta be careful because, just let me say something right off the back of that. I'm just piggybacking over it. But it's cheap to maintain a good street. The price grows exponentially as it gets worse. And you're talking stuff like Casey Road. You know how traveled Casey Road is now? And it's a long stretch from Monica View to Bulverde Road. And,
Yeah.
so, I
Edgebrook
mean,
has a 92 rating. I'm
you don't
not
wanna
sure,
neglect
Edgebrook has a 92 rating. I
a
just
good
don't
street.
understand why a 92 rating or an 85 rating takes priority over a 29 rating that's been sitting out
No, I
there for, I
understand.
don't know.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
So that's
yeah,
all, that's
You don't
all.
wanna
I'm saying.
neglect the good streets.
That's all I'm
It's actually cheaper in the long run.
Okay, Councilman Hawkins?
Aaron, I'd like to explore the cost piece of that a little bit more. Generally, it costs, when you're breaking this out, I'm assuming that you've got materials and labor. Is that generally what comprises this, or are there more things comprised other than materials and labor in this cost estimate?
It's whatever the overall cost is as far as square yardage on that particular treatment within this area.
Okay.
So for example, if it's full depth reclamation, roughly runs about $77 to $80 a square yard. So that's typically how pavement preservation programs are set out. Now, once we send out the bid package, again, we send out the bid package, contractors can, again, from what I've heard, this area is very difficult in getting contractors to come out here. So, we may have a competitive bid package out there that contractors are gonna be like, you know what, I'm gonna be very competitive on this bid, and the prices may reduce. But if we don't have that advantageous package for contractors to look at, then, prices are gonna be expensive.
So for a contractor, he's got his labor cost, he's got his materials cost that's gonna go into it, and then he's got probably what he's gonna calculate as wear and tear on his equipment, a certain amount of equipment, cost depreciation and things like that.
Yeah.
All of those components basically then go in to make up that square foot number that you're talking about, right? Okay.
And it's an industry average.
Yeah.
in that area.
Understand. So from the perspective of a contractor, does any one particular contractor or any other thing have any advantage over any other person, or is this basically a flat table amongst these guys because they all have to deal with the wear and tear factor on equipment, labor costs are all the same, and all of them have the exact same materials costs?
Yeah, they're all gonna be competing. And most all of them, I would say most all contractors probably use the same asphalt plants.
So in let's say a $75 a square foot, whatever that comprises, the ability of a contractor to vary assuming his margins, his profit margins inside of that are maybe 10 to 15%, something like that. His ability to be able to vary that price is probably only going to be 3 to 4 to 5% inside of a $77 or $70 per square foot.
It depends. You know, you have big contractors out there like Clark Construction or the ones that are doing 46. Then you got your small mom and pop shops who their return on their money is going to be different. So it varies on the size of the company.
So from your experience though, you don't see that there's any significant way to deviate much from these estimates by more than a few percent for a mom and pop shop to the best contractor that we could get to do this work.
I've seen it. I've been in bid proposals in the past, and it surprises you. The fluctuates. Oil prices fluctuate.
Yeah,
so asphalt fluctuates. So there's a lot of numbers that go into trying to pinpoint the exact number on the actual project, but you just try to estimate the best you can. And the bid package, once you set that bid package out and make it advantageous for that contractor, you'll get more contractors to bid on.
Okay. Yeah, I think not bottom
So,
sealing
I
some
think
of these chip seals, I think that would help the price a lot.
I think that, I think we still have a lot of questions. I'm looking at this and, our poor and our very poor is 1% of what this is, right? And I'm of the thought process that we should take care of those poor and bad roads, and especially when it's only 1% of everything that we're looking at. It's 1%. Even if you were to put in there the fair is only 10%. That's 11% of what we're the total of what we're looking at to take care of our bad roads, right? So I think we need to look and go back and see about taking care of the roads that are very poor, and figure out how we can get those fixed. 2 points on our PCI, 3 points on the PCI to lose per year is not, it's not a big difference for some of these numbers that are already on here, correct? From an 85 to an 82, you're still in the same satisfactory area. Maybe we look at the ones that are unsatisfactory, that if they lost 3 points and they dropped from 71 to below the 70, maybe the Casey Roads of the world, Rodeo Drive, those, and add those in there to see if we can get to our max of what we want to spend this year is at 1.5.
So,
but I think that for me, at this time, I'm not ready to make a decision on this. I'd like to see it presented, with what we're asking and looking at those roads that need to be prepared first.
Well, we only have this amount of dollars to work with, so we either have to drop something or we have to spend more money.
Well,
No, that's what we're saying is-
we're going to, this is what we're asking. We
Change
want
our
to see it where we draw it and change the priorities.
Yeah, but
So I would like to see
dropping stuff right now might have
what
a small change at this moment, but long-term effect, when you start decreasing the PCI on some of these bigger roads, I mean, it gets more expensive. So is that how this is laid out?
yeah, I mean, basically what we're looking at is we're pavement preservation heavy as far as the way our
Have we ever had a pavement preservation?
Yeah.
I'm asking, have we ever had a pavement?
No. Everything that the well, as far as I know, that the city's done is more subjective. It's like picking the streets and let's do this.
Yeah, I mean,
and
drive
that's-
around and look at
yeah,
the
but when you have, and you saw the scores when we had before, it was 60s, so you did a lot of the bad streets. Yeah,
Sure.
you great, and it brought you up to an 83. So now what you
Which is
do,
high.
which is high. So now what you want to do is keep the 83 and keep that 83. And the method in doing that is by pavement preservation.
But this is a new philosophy that we're undertaking. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
It's my philosophy.
New for the city. is
Yes,
what I'm
new for the
looking
city.
at.
Yes,
So all I'm saying is, and I think it's a great philosophy, all I'm saying is, maybe we don't go really heavy in that direction year one. Maybe we say, this is what we're working towards, and we've got to clean up this really bad stuff first. Because I just am imagining if I'm a guy living on the very poor street, to find out that Edgebrook is getting prioritized, I'd probably have a problem with that. And that's all I'm saying.
I completely understand. And pavement preservation is probably one of the most difficult things to try to comprehend, because you're spending a lot of money on this.
I would offer this though, for the gentleman who's sitting there saying, you know, you got a score of 90 over here, we're working on that. And what's going to happen to me? I mean, for that particular person, I would say, you've never had a pavement management program in the history of this city. I feel fairly certain about that. Given that, we've got a 5-year plan. Help us on the way. What I'm concerned about is that man right there has probably 30 years of experience in pavement repair and pavement management. That's more than I have. I'm a civil engineer. He knows more about that than I do. So him and the consultant that we hired came up with this plan and said, this is the plan that gets you where you need to be. Granted, it's a 5-year plan. And we've talked about bringing that plan to you during the budget season. I worry about doing a street based upon a heavy emphasis on citizen feedback, because I think that's what we've had in the past. And now we're offering a structured program. And it's a 5-year program. And I'm not saying we can't add 1 or 2 core streets in there. I would allow for that. I think we probably can if we want to come back. But we're throwing the baby out with the bathwater.
Yes. I like the way this is set up.
So I would like to suggest that we go back and revise this list, okay? And we go back and we look at the 1%, that 1.10% there, which is it's 0.65 center line miles, okay? 0.65. We need to see about putting those poor and those very poor in there the first year. This should be about a 2-year ramp up. I don't think anybody's gonna wanna swallow it the first year, and none of our constituents are gonna wanna swallow it the first year. If we do it in a 2-year ramp up, it gives us up enough time to get it out there, get the plan out there to everybody, and everybody's understand, yes, they're under a 5-year plan. This is what the plan's going to be, right? We publicize it. Everybody understands when their roads are gonna get done. But that's what I would suggest that we do, because we do need to take care of that 1%. And by no means am I saying that what you put together is not a good plan. I just do not think that our city is ready for that big of an improvement over the next year. It needs to be, these other roads need to get taken care of. They've been waiting a long time already, as you can see by their PCI grading, right? We need to get them taken care of, okay? And then we move this into a 2-year plan, to where we are educating our citizens on what's gonna happen over the next 5 years, but this is what we're gonna take care of this year. This is what the plan is for next year. This is where you're sitting in the 3rd year, but this is our plan. But we move it in a 2-year plan, not make it get swallowed in the first year, okay? So I'd like to see you come back with a new list where we are taking care of those roads. Those people have been waiting forever to get their roads fixed.
I completely understand.
I do not want them to wait another 3 years.
So the one thing that we do also have to take into consideration is the timeline that we're losing on getting these bids out.
I was about to say, we need to get this and move on.
Yeah, because
start in March.
Well,
the more and more we wait, you know, most contractors are.
You missed the window.
Yeah,
so here's my thought process. Can we get this back on the agenda for the 18th? Give him time to revise this list, get it back on the 18th so that we can get this taken care of and voted upon on the 18th.
Well,
I don't feel we have clear guidance from council.
I don't want to revise the whole list.
All I know is that you want to get some poor and very poor on there. I'd like more specific guidance from council on this.
So
the whole of council.
there's a 1%. Okay. I motion that we go back and we look at this And we add in this 1.10% of the total area, which is 0.65 total distance, center line distance. Okay, it's 0.30% of the network, right? Into our original plan for the first year, and then figure out where the rest of this falls into the amount that we're gonna have to spend $1.5 million.
I see maybe dropping Edgewood for a full road, but I don't.
I would suggest we drop Edgewood also and hold that for next year.
No, this, what you got here is good, Eric. I don't think we should go changing everything around.
I'm just saying, our city is not ready to swallow all of this in
What?
the first year. We do this in a 2-year process, but we take care of these people that have been waiting forever for the roads to get fixed, and they haven't been fixed.
But it's not the same thing. I mean, you're.
It is.
How bad is the 29? Are we talking about roads that knock your front end out of alignment?
Yeah, I mean,
They cause you to have blowouts while you're driving down the road? Because those are the roads that I'm familiar with up north, where they have those horrible winters, then they need pothole repairs, but I haven't driven on any roads like that in Fort Worth.
No, we don't have.
George Charles.
Even a 4 road in Fort Worth is pretty damn good.
Yeah, exactly. There's a reason this is structured the way it's structured.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to swallow. I mean, I think we can pick and choose some, but.
Yes, pick and choose.
But I
some
do
good
think that getting on that preventive maintenance
Absolutely.
plan.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
gonna cost us less down the road.
exactly. That's the whole point of doing.
That's the goal, right? It hurts at the beginning, but we can take some poor, potentially, like, identify the one that is the heartbreak. They're little sections. I mean, there's a 0.3%. It's not a lot that we're talking about. But, you know, I do want to make sure that we're ahead of it, because I do know from a maintenance standpoint that if we don't stay on top of it, then that's when things degrade, and that's what you're trying to do.
I don't
So
think
I
we're
can see that.
disagreeing with
That's
that.
what we
We're not
don't,
disagreeing with that.
we don't disagree with that, okay?
Yeah.
My option here was to do it instead of making all this on the first year, to do it over 2 year, we continue on the 5-year plan. But let's get these roads out of there and then continue with our plan on the 5-year plan, right?
We spent all this money to do this PCI plan. Why change it up? I mean, there's a reason it's
This
structured.
is just one recommendation, right? There's
Yeah.
more than one way to skin this cat.
So Aaron, when do you have to know by? What's, like, you gotta know this meeting, right, to solicit and get it out?
We can get it on the 18th.
We can get on the 18th, but he needs clear.
He wants
guidance.
clear direction.
We have a lot of
Yeah.
opinions.
Yeah.
So, wait.
Wait.
Councilman Hayes, let's get it on paper. What are you suggesting down there?
I'm really torn because I understand exactly what you're saying. And I know that if a citizen on one of these streets saw this list and saw that we're throwing money at Edgebrook and some others, they're not gonna be happy. But I understand why we're doing it.
Yeah.
You know, so, I would like to know which of these streets have a road is bad, and which of them are just, okay, deceptively, this is a small street, but it's got some cracking. You know, are there anything in here that we really just need to, that we just look at and go, you know what, this street's just bad, and add that in. I'd like to hit the ones that are on fire, and then still dedicate a large amount to this plan that you put together. Because I think your plan is gonna get us where we need to be in the long run. I'm just worried about any fires that we need to address right now.
Yeah, just one concern that I have, in redoing this, I mean, we're taking, and I understand, we're taking 2 steps back as far as trying to, redo the plan for the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years. So now I need to get back with the consultant, have them run the program with poor roads coming up on top, and then restructuring it that way. And I don't know if the system, and Grant, I could ask them, whether the system is actually designed to put worse roads first and set a 5 year to make it a pavement preservation plan, because it takes away from making a pavement preservation.
Exactly.
So what if we took out, let's just say you took out Edgebrook subdivision and put Bridal Gate in
Can I ask a question real quick?
Oh, go ahead.
There's no FDR on this, is there?
What?
Yeah, full depth reclamation, and these poor streets, they're full depth reclamation. That's gonna blow our budget way out of the water.
But we're looking at the budgets and it says,
Right
if we're to believe these numbers, you could do every one of them for $400,000. If these are right numbers.
Right.
I don't know if they are.
It must be
Yeah.
just really small
Yeah.
stretch of road.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
it must
basically
be that.
again, the
I guess
cost-
we need to get in a van and drive around.
Well,
yeah.
That's what I'm
The-
saying.
the
that's
class-
what I'm saying. The big one here is Bridal Gate that's on the very poor list. And the road needs to be done, right? So take out Edgebrook, put Edgebrook for next year, and put Bridal Gate for this year.
Okay, so just, I mentioned it earlier, if we're doing just one FDR, and I'm gonna bid out one FDR.
Yeah.
That price is gonna be a lot more than 61.
Right.
Yeah, this estimated value,
What in the 5-year plan did you have that slotted?
Yeah, that would.
right?
Right, you've got a 5-year plan, and the goal is to put the full depth reclamations all together because we want to create efficiencies, and that's gonna raise the cost. Hang on, sorry. Right? Did I understand that?
Right down
Not,
there.
not all the FDRs can be in one.
Okay,
Don't-
not all of it is, or it is?
Not all of them are.
Okay, but I'm saying, I'm hearing you say you want to bundle those for cost efficiencies.
Yes,
What year do you have these planned for?
I don't have that, I don't have that information. I'd have to go back, my concentration.
Understood, no, understood, and I'm not trying to challenge you, I'm trying to understand, is it possible to flip years 1 and 3, as an example, and get us to where we need to go without upsetting the whole apple cart? I don't know what the data looks like, that's why I'm asking.
Yeah, probably not, because you're flipping the whole concept of what the pavement preservation program is about.
That point was
So-
Because it's set up, you know,
Right.
We probably
FDR
ought to
just go with the, we have
everybody's
a lot
talking
more
over
equipment.
On turn. Councilman
It's a
Hayes.
different ball.
No, I'm just saying, we've paid for the consultant, we've got somebody that's dealt with these roads for forever. I think we probably just need to go with the recommendations.
I agree.
I understand that it doesn't feel right for the top of the bad list,
But there's a method to man.
and for the, yeah, exactly. And I think for the end result for the city, I think that's the way I think about it.
Councilman Alexander.
Yes, so, yeah, I don't think it's not pretty, but we never have maintenance programs, and I think this is what gets us on track with that. One thing we did touch though was the county issue, right? And I don't know if the county can, I mean, we're paying them for dog catching fees, you know, for the animal control, so I don't know if they can even help us get us a better cost to do some of this work potentially, you know, but
And-
it's just an
and-
option, right? Because we didn't touch base on that.
Yeah.
You know, Edgebrook, yeah, it's touchy. I mean, we could probably do that next year, right? Because it said 92 PCI, so we could probably take that, but it only, you know, saves us about $54,000. So it's not enough to offset what it is. And like you said, if it's already failed, then it's failed, right? Or it's poor, right? So it's not going to help us in the long run. I get that part of it. So I do think that if we can identify this in the future potential program years of what we're going to attack and how this looks, so that we're not doing this again next year, then I say we move forward.
Yeah, and that's the whole plan. I mean, the pavement preservation plan, it's a process. You know, we come in, we set this year pretty much starts to guide the following years. You know, it starts,
But, yeah.
next year's process, there'll be a one presentation meeting, here it is, boom. next
But yeah,
year, you know.
let's identify it.
Yeah.
Right?
I would
What
like
we-
all the streets to be identified from when the information we have now on a calendar of these when they're gonna be done.
Right.
And that way, both staff and us, when the citizens call and go, what's happening with my road?
Through next year.
We can go, hey, you're scheduled on the 2027 plan.
Yeah.
I think that, you know,
Yeah.
if they understand where we're going,
But
Okay, Councilman Hawkins. Anything to add? Questions?
No,
Councilman Watson.
I think Clint is right on the money. If we could see what the 5-year plan is, so that we could share that with the constituents, I would be more comfortable with this.
yeah, the ultimate goal, you know, it's not, you know, I could
it's not.
give you the ultimate goal right now, but I don't know if, you know, obviously we don't have the staff to completely do everything.
that's required, the software to do it and all that stuff, but it is the goal. The goal is to create that preservation plan, set it out on the internet, set it on the website saying, hey, your street's gonna be done in 2028. I don't know if you've seen the city of San Antonio, Bear County's websites, they have their 2, 3 year, 4 year plans out, and they may alter a little bit, but you have a pretty good, set of streets that you're gonna be doing and it allows us to budget properly and.
Even without the website, if that's a hard copy that somebody can call and whoever answers the phone can pick it up and go, yeah, you're here.
Yeah, and in conjunction and with a good asset management program, it'll make these discussions a lot.
You're definitely making a step in the right direction. I know it's a hard initial step. I think you've done right there. I make a motion.
Wait,
I'd like to make.
wait. There was a motion on the floor already.
Oh, I'm sorry, but there was not a second.
There was not a second, but I was just looking, I think we can still discuss, right?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. I was just gonna say, it says the whole Edgewood subdivision for $54,000. That's just, you run a slurry truck for the road, cheap, cheap and easy. You cover a lot of distance.
Okay, all right. What do?
What is
I
the
have the
motion?
motion as adding the 1.1 or 1.10%, 0.65 miles and dropping Edgebrook. That was your motion.
Just afraid that these numbers here aren't gonna be accurate when it becomes the full depth repair. That's the only thing. Because when I'm looking at, one of the second worst street on here, and it says $5,500.
Yes.
If it was as easy as we throw $5,500 at it, great. It's not gonna be.
It's probably, one
Yeah.
bottle.
So these numbers are not,
I don't
we're gonna
think-
be way off in what's on there.
We're probably gonna be way off on all.
No, and even where we go here, we're gonna have to go back and then pick and choose, because you're gonna have to reduce it to 1.5, and we're gonna go up, let's just say it's gonna 4%, let's give it 4% different probably of what it's gonna be. Now you're looking at another $400,000, right? And that's gonna be $2 million, and we only have 1.5, so you're gonna be redoing the road maintenance plan anyway,
And then it's gonna be February.
so.
Yeah, our biggest thing is we gotta get this.
We have to get this.
We gotta get it because we didn't get it last time. We ended up late. And then.
Yeah. Everything falls apart when you don't do it.
Can I,
You can withdraw your motion.
I was gonna say redact. Can I redact that, motion? Or recall it? Okay, Clint, go ahead.
I make a motion that we grant permission to move forward with the 2026 street maintenance plan as presented.
Second.
But can we?
Wait.
I'd like to identify the forecasted, identify the forecasted roads. That way we know, who's on the plan next.
Yeah, I'll prepare that.
Okay.
And that all,
It's proposed.
yeah, and that's all dependent
That's all
on,
subject to.
this.
Staying on our budgeted amount.
Yes, yeah, I got no more.
So we'll have to remove some of these.
Well, let's see.
We have to wait until the bid.
We gotta wait till bids and then we'll just chop off this.
So Joe amended the motion by adding
The forecast.
The forecast plan.
The forecasted plan on the next road improvement.
Yep.
And it's our proposed, because it's just proposed, we might have to pick and choose. Some of these might have to come off the list too, just depends on what numbers we get. And I'd also like to find out if the county would give us a number.
Can I touch on that? Do we have to vote? Okay, so I did reach out to the county. I talked to the county engineer, Robert Boyd, for their assistance on helping us some, I think I asked them if they can do, cause they're doing, Old Fernie Road. And, I asked them if he could help us and do that road. And he reached out to the county commissioners and I got a no. They said they wouldn't help us, but they'd entertain the thought next year.
But I don't think we're asking them to help us. What we want to do is that since they already have their equipment there, it's cheaper for them to just continue and us pay them.
Yeah,
We want to pay them for that. So they
I've
were
asked
in
They
agreement
just don't know.
yeah, I've asked them that. They did not want.
to- I'll reach out.
There's a motion and a second.
So, all right, so go back to what the motion was, Sandra, please.
To approve 25-26 road maintenance plan with the addition of for providing a forecasted proposed 5-year plan.
And we stay on budget.
Motion is second.
Okay.
Motion
Did I have a second?
Yeah,
Jason.
I was a second. Already
All right.
second.
Go to vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
It's not pretty ridiculous.
We'll get there, we'll get there. Thank you, guys.
Take
Okay,
care.
Thank you, Aaron.
public comments, and I think I have Rhonda on here.
Mayor and council. One, we want to wish y'all a very happy holiday season coming up, Christmas and New Year. And two, I wanted to just share our appreciation for the cooperation and the assistance we received. Aaron and his Public Works Department were amazing to work with during the Christmas lighting. They didn't, the guys, his staff were a little bit more familiar with it, but we appreciated all of the mayor coming out, the city manager coming out and doing what we do. We had a very, very good event, very well attended event again this year. We could have done without the rain, but you know, it definitely skirted everyone out of there at 8 o'clock and let us get home closer to 11 this year than 12. So it was very good. Chief Haker, you and your team did an amazing job as always. We appreciate it. I don't believe we had any instances of any problems.
Two missing kids and Marie.
But other than that, no, not honorary guys out there or ladies. So it was a very good week. So we just wanted to share our appreciation for all y'all did to help make it a very good night.
How many
Thank
years?
you, really worked hard.
It was great. Yeah.
Appreciate it, and to everybody that was out there, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
This is, how many years now?
This was the 35th Christmas light.
35th year.
I have to say the chamber has not been part of it. We've been assisting because the chamber's only been around for about 30 years. So Ms. Gainwood and her team started it out, and somehow I got convinced to take it over. About 15 or 20 years.
She's resourceful.
She's resourceful.
Yeah.
Yes.
Got a whole count?
No, I forgot the clicker, so we didn't click in. City manager and I are a little bit different on our thoughts. He's closer to 4,000. I'm closer to 5 to 6, just because we have a lot of people come in early, a lot of people leave, and stuff at one point, probably 3,000 to 4,000. But we have them so spread out that it's really hard to get a picture on how many people are actually there, because we have them. The kids zone was definitely a hit this year, back where the bounce houses were. It was very busy back there. And then of course, Center Row is always really busy. So it's nice that we get them all spread out, but it's hard to do a head count because they're coming in from all different directions.
Right.
So, yeah, if we could have that one gate, they all had to enter through, that would be really great.
Didn't even work.
But we saw people there already trying to shop at 4:30, and it's like, it doesn't start for an hour, no way. Anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And have a wonderful holiday.
Westland said that they got 500 pounds.
500 pounds and about, she emailed it to me, I'm gonna say $500 or $600 in cash donations. So they did very well. People were very supportive of it this year. I get tickled at her resourcefulness. People come up, they don't know about it, because all the flyers had it on there, we promoted it and everything, but people see what they want to see. They saw Christmas lighting event, boom, we're there. But they had cans of corn and cans of different things. Oh, you don't have anything? That's no problem. Here, you can purchase this. And they put it in the bin and, give them $1 for it or whatever. And then that bin would go up there and that same can would come back up and we would just go up one more time. And I think several of those cans made the round. So it was okay. They got very big. Huh? No. We'll keep it out of this room. No, so, but anyway, thank you very much for the
Thanks,
support.
Lisa.
We look forward to having another great event next year and partnering with the city again. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Right. Okay, number 5, reports by elected officials and city staff on items of community interest. I want to say thank you, Leah. It's gorgeous. You did a wonderful job. Thank you for going out of your way to decorate for us. We really appreciate you. Anybody else? Anything else?
Santa Claus will be coming to town on the 19th. We will be up at Walmart at 5:30. That's where we will start. We'll wind our way down to the city, ending up community park on Woolbury Lane, about 9 o'clock.
9 p.m. Okay. So 5 to 9 starting at Walmart, you said?
Yes, we'll start at Walmart.
Yeah.
And our route is in the front porch.
Cool. Oh, good.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
When do we know about fireworks and the fire ban for New Year's? Do we know, like, I guess the county will make a decision as
It's on rain.
Hopefully we can.
it don't look like it.
Well, for our purposes, it's the rain on there.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean, burn that
Just
one.
burn ban. We have burn ban right
Which is available on the county website.
As long as the burn ban's on, our ordinance.
now. We're burn ban right now.
Right.
Okay, all right, so 6, we're gonna close out for executive session at 8:08.
That doesn't mean it rains for 10 minutes. You aren't. That's right.
Yeah. It rains half inch. But
Spurs by marriage, Cowboys by choice.
Say again?
Spurs by marriage, Cowboys by choice.
My condolences.
It's been a rough. Raiders too, but Cowboys also.
Red Raiders, rep and tag.
40 years ago.
That's
I was
right.
with-
So was I.
40 years ago, there was a.
Yeah, yeah, exactly right.
They break my heart every year. They didn't.
I don't know.
Okay.
Crushing.
Well, let me know when you hear something.
Call our meeting back to order at 8:25 PM. Okay, and we have no action on our executive session item. And anything else? Nope. Okay, we're adjourned this meeting at 8:26.
All right.